Hi, Philomena here, and I'm back with my Meet the Ambassador series. Today we are at the Embassy of Sweden in Monrovia, and we're going to be sitting down with Ambassador Karl Backéus. Did you know that Liberia and Sweden's relations began as far back as 1864 with a trade agreement? We'll talk about the history and much more. Stay tuned. Welcome to Meet the Ambassador, and I am honored to be sitting here with the Ambassador of Sweden to Liberia, Ambassador Karl Backéus. Nice to meet you, or nice to see you again. We've already met, but tell the audience hello, if you can.
Yes, hello, hi, Roida, nice to see you
Nice
again.
to see you again.
My office.
Well, good to be back. Beautiful, beautiful location, by the way, everyone, by the ocean. They have by far one of the best embassies, I would say, in Liberia. Yeah, it's not a bad. We'll give you a sneak peek a little bit later of what he gets to see here, but want to start off and get to know you. You're fairly new here. You've been here for a year, but can you tell us about your background and how you came to become the ambassador of Sweden to Liberia?
Sure. I've been with the Swedish Foreign Service since 2006. And been working in different parts of the world. I've also been working quite a lot in our headquarters in Stockholm, but I've been working, and I did my first tour actually in Africa, in Rwanda.
Nice.
And that's, interestingly enough, I met my wife, who was Italian, but she was also working there at that time. So that was a very successful stint on many levels. And then I've been stationed to Southeast Asia, and now my wife and I were quite keen, both of us, to come back to Africa for another tour, and this opportunity appeared, and I was fortunate enough to be able to get this opportunity. So yeah,
amazing.
And like you said, I've been here about a year now. Super happy and excited about that.
So all those experiences in all those different places, how do you think they're going to, or have they shaped the way that you've approached your time here in Liberia?
Well, first of all, I think it's good to have a sort of basic understanding of what you're getting yourself into if you move from somewhere like Sweden.
Straight into Liberia.
Yeah,
that's kind of like a culture shock, right?
It is a little bit. But if you traveled a little bit around the world,
exactly.
You kind of have a rough idea of what it means to sort of be airdropped into Liberia. Our kids that we brought with us, they had never lived abroad before, so for them I think it was a bit of a more substantial culture shock.
Yes.
But they're adapting extremely well. But apart from that, I think some of the experiences I've had, I've worked in several countries that have gone through conflicts, and really understanding that, of course, every conflict is different, and every country that has experienced that has its own traumas and own scars. But really understanding how deeply that does affect the society, I think and with that, some humility in terms of understanding is something that I think that I brought with me.
Amazing. Yeah. So in your first year here, what has been something that stood out for you? What are your maybe a memorable experience or an impression that stuck out to you so far?
Well, I mean, there are several, I mean, first of all, of course, the people you meet. That's always the thing that tends to impress you the most. Exactly. And that's definitely true for Liberia as well. You meet so many nice people. People are very warm and welcoming and open. Boisterous, loud.
That is true.
Yeah, but mostly I think that's for the good. So that's one thing. Then the beautiful scenery here is just staggering. Amazing. I've been able to travel a little bit around the country. Looking forward to doing much more.
Yes. Hopefully we'll be able to get out there together. We talked about Linta and all the stuff that we're doing. So I would love to get you out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to do that. I'm actually traveling to the Southeast next week. So,
amazing. Well, good luck with that trip.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, it's a beautiful. Once you get there, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
yes.
But I think I've done 8 or 9 counties so far.
Wow.
And I mean, shorter trips, most of them, but still, seen some amazing scenery. Then I think one thing I wasn't expecting when I came here was the very, very good impression that a lot of people have from Sweden before
Yes.
the war, and memories, and that's very strong. And you meet that in so many people when you say you're Swedish, and I did not expect that actually.
Yes.
I knew that there was that presence, but I didn't sort of realize that it was so strong in so many people here. And it's a little bit humbling. It feels like a lot of responsibility, but of course also to sort of try to build on that,
Yes.
and use
Yes.
that for strengthening the way we work together even further.
Yes.
But it's also just plainly awesome.
Yeah, and I think honestly, your predecessors and the staff and everything that I've been here for about 9 years now, and ever since I had touched down, I knew that there was a lot of involvement from the Swedish embassy in many facets of the Liberian life.
Yeah.
So you all have made a great impression and been able to work with the community and work through elections and different things and really assist the Liberian people in a way that hasn't been intrusive. So speaking of that, what are your hopes and aspirations for your time here?
Yeah. I mean, at the very basic, try not to mess up. But no, jokes aside, really try to build on all of the good work, as you said, that has been done. Continue to try to build on that, strengthen and deepen the relations further between Sweden and Liberia. And again, it's quite gratifying, and it's given the fact that there is so much to build on. I'm in a very fortunate position to try to just take that forward and see how we can both broaden the relations. We have a lot of what we do here is based on our development cooperation, but we want to see how we can strengthen business ties even further.
Exactly.
There are Swedish businesses present, but we want to see more of that. So that's part of it. We want to build stronger cultural ties. If I can be an ambassador for Liberia in Sweden in terms of advocating for its natural beauty, the friendliness of its people, telling people about, how awesome it is to come here as a tourism, or at least the opportunities that are here.
Right.
That's something I also want to try to do.
Yeah.
So
I have some questions about economy with you. I've done a little research. We'll get to that later. But can we talk about Sweden's diplomatic priorities when it comes to Liberia? What are the prime diplomatic priorities aligning with the country?
Yeah. I mean, the starting point for answering that question is the world we're living right now, which is extremely, turbulent, challenging. We see wars in Europe, which is in our neighborhood, and
right in your
we
backyard.
see, the wars in the Middle East, what's happening in Sudan, and everything, and increased geopolitical competition. And that's the starting point for our foreign policy, that we need to look to see how do we preserve the Swedish interests in this. And the Swedish interests, among them, is ensuring that we have strong alliances globally among countries who wants to stand up for a rules-based global order, who believe that might is not right, but we need international cooperation based on commonly agreed rules to manage our common challenges. And in that, Liberia has for a long time and continues to be a very strong ally. So my first answer to that question is we need to maintain that alliance between Sweden and Liberia and other countries who view the world in a similar manner, that we want to preserve a strong multilateral structure, rules-based international order, condemn those who violate that, etc.
Agreed.
So all of that's sort of the first priority. The second one, I would say, is continue to, again, coming back to what we talked about earlier, build on the development cooperation that we have achieved here, supporting Liberia as a whole throughout the country. We want to see how we can not work only in Monrovia. We need to reach out, and we're doing that across the different counties, reach the poor people, strengthen Liberia's democracy, rule of law. Another important part of that is also really ensuring that we continue to stand up for democracy and human rights, including gender equality and sexual and reproductive health and rights. So it's very much a values-based cooperation. And again, we have strong like-mindedness, if you will, with the government here and the people in general. So we feel that this is a very good partnership in that. And the third point I would mention is strengthening the ties beyond development cooperation and the political cooperation, so businesses, economic ties, etc.
Yes, we're going to talk about those economics, but I do want to mention I remember very, very clearly during the last election how involved the Swedish embassy was. Poll watchers, they were out in the rural areas making sure the ballots were counted, they were protected.
Yeah.
So there was really, really a strong presence, and I can tell you thank you, the Swedish embassy, the Swedes, for helping to ensure that we had a very smooth process. That was something that everyone was very concerned about, if this was going to be a peaceful transfer of power. And I think you all had a large part to do with that. So thumbs up for that.
Yeah. I think, thank you. But I also think we need to recognize, this was the Liberian people's choice.
Yes.
They chose to do this.
Yes, definitely.
So I think that goes to recognize those are the primary,
Definitely.
You guys, you made this happen.
Too.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going, Liberia. Yeah. I think you already do a great job of this at the Swedish embassy, fostering cultural experiences and exchanges. Are there any more that you would like to see, or maybe some that you have in mind that you're going to create or start up?
Well, we generally try to talk about Sweden and build on the positive image that is already here. And we do small events and try to get the message out there on what we do in a lot of different spheres. I'm not sure that it really counts as culture, but if we see how we can build people-to-people ties, we have some scholarships at the master's level that we are... is not managed by the embassy, but it's Swedish public funding that allows Liberians to go and study at the master's level in Sweden, fully funded. We have 10 Liberians, I think, who are currently doing that. So through something that's called the Swedish Institute.
Okay.
So we want to try to, advertise that even more.
Yes.
See if we can get even more people to apply for that.
Amazing.
The choices and selection is not done by us. So, but we act.
Facilitate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So that was going to be my next question. Okay. So we will provide. No, it's okay. It's wonderful. You're making my job very easy today. So we will provide the audience with more information on how they can research about this opportunity and hopefully apply and get more Liberians into the Swedish Institute. That's amazing.
Yeah. And whenever that happens, we also advertise that on our Facebook page.
Okay, wonderful.
But
so we'll put that there as well.
We'll send you the link.
Now, I've done a little research on you.
Yeah.
You're a diplomat, an economist with over 20 years of experience in areas of public finance, trade, and foreign policy. Quite a commendable career.
Thank you. Yeah.
So we're going to get into that type of talk now. What do you think will be the most important factors for Liberia's long-term development?
Quite clearly, it's all about governance. If you have a well-governed country, the rest follows, I would say. And I think that's been the challenge for Liberia for such a long time. That even if you've had well-meaning people at the top, you have a system. And to be frank, which I think has been characterized more by rent extraction than by actually doing, good public service.
Right.
So changing that culture is a very difficult thing.
Yes.
But, we see steps being taken. I wasn't here during the previous administration, so I can't really speak to what happened then. But I see at least some positive indications right now.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that will continue.
Yeah.
Because if you can have that, then you can start really to build the foundations. And if you don't, then any progress can be easily undone and it will be very slow. And
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
So how does Sweden...
And, sorry, just to say, I think there is so much academic research, scientific research that it verifies this claim.
Yes.
Only 2 years ago, I think it was, the Nobel Prize in Economics was awarded to scholars who had done most of the research really on the importance of having that good sort of foundation, having the strong institutions, and how conversely, if you don't, then
Good governance, a good foundation is very important.
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing it not only here in Africa, we're seeing a lot of changes happening in the Sahel region. We're seeing a lot of changes in places like America, where governance has, appeared to be great for so many years, and now it's going in opposite direction. And you see the effects that it has not only on its citizens, but on a global scale.
Yeah.
So I think you are very right on that point. How does Sweden ensure that its development cooperation aligns with Liberia's national priorities?
Well, again, if the national priority, and I think it is well, part of it is delivering on that good governance agenda, which again is the precondition to deliver on health and education, on better roads, what have you. We need to start by building that, and we are supporting that in many different ways. We have for a long time been working a lot with civil society partners who keep governments accountable. That's part of our support for democracy.
Accountability. Yes.
Yeah, accountability. And so working with civil society, but also working to strengthen the government system. So the Swedish Tax Authority, for instance, has been working with the LRA for a number of years. The Swedish National Auditing Office has been working with the GAC, and strengthening audit competencies. We've been working with the Ministry of Finance on public finance management. And these are things that we've been doing over years. We're not the biggest, but we try to be strategic in how we do that. And some of it, we see some very good results.
Absolutely. I think, and going back to good governance, I think we've been in a place in Liberia for so long where there's a system of dysfunction, right?
Yeah.
People aren't paying their taxes, audits aren't being done. So we kind of get used to this lifestyle, but if we don't move forward, we're always going to be stuck in this place.
Yeah.
So as much as it may annoy some of us to have a little law and order, these are great things that will help to solidify our country and get it to where it's supposed to be.
Sorry, can I just, but in addition to that, I just want to mention, again, I talked earlier, because what I talked about now was, I think, primarily activities that are based in Monrovia. Right. But again, coming back to what we need to do across the country. So in addition to sort of trying to build that foundation or help Liberia lay that foundation, we've been concretely working on improving infrastructure, improving roads in rural areas. So we have had something that's called feeder roads that we have now phased out our support to that. That's been basically not paved roads, but upgrading the roads.
So like gravel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And now we've actually moved even one step even further out from the sort of, towards the really small local communities where we've been, it's focusing on what's called village access roads. And these are like basically what used to be footpaths. Having made them available for motorcycles so that you can actually go you can transport small amounts of goods from the villages without having to carry them on your back. You can actually transport them on a motorcycle.
And that's so important.
Or actually for women to have access to health clinics and facilities on a more easy manner. So
it's not always about the big roads. A lot of the times, even you're talking about those things, but even goods, farmers who are doing things deep in the village, in the rural areas, by the time they walk their goods, they're spoiled. So these are important things. These are the feed. I like the feeder the idea, because it feeds you to the main road. Then hopefully the main road will be fixed one day so that the feeder roads can get them there.
You connect that through the main arteries, and then you have these transport. Same with electricity, by the way. We're doing rural electricity, small-scale solar projects in villages.
Amazing.
We have some people today up in Barpolu who are looking at one of our support projects there.
Amazing.
Those who can't connect to the grid.
Exactly. That's a little bit off the grid right now. They're still working their way. So, this is something I know that you all have been involved with supporting economic support to women. How do you all can you explain what you all do as far as supporting women? I know you just said, the feeder paths to get them to reproductive health, but you have always been a big proponent for the support of women. So can you explain exactly how you all support women in their economic ventures here?
Our starting point is that, it has a strong value of its own. So, an gender equal society is better for everyone. And it's also an instrumental value. When you empower women economically, they deliver more or contribute more to their country in terms of growth, poverty reduction. If you provide a woman with an income, you know that you're not only providing her with some income security,
Exactly.
she also sends her kids to school.
Right. The whole family is a holistic
exactly,
thing. Yeah.
So that's money extremely well spent in terms of just contributing to development and growth of the country. But as I said, my starting point is also there's a strong inherent value in that. So what we want to try to do is recognizing that women are, they lack access to finance, they lack access to education, they lack access to health.
Mm-hmm.
They're not involved in decision making as much. So we need to address all of these things to ensure that we truly sort of work on gender equality.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be health and rights issues, but also, like I said, access to finance can be all of those. And we work with a number of different partners here in the country, civil society organizations, but also the United Nations, who then support some of the work that's done through the government to strengthen gender equality. And it's not like one area in specific. We really want to see the whole breadth of it.
Well, that I have my special interest, so I have to be a little biased on that.
Yeah.
But yes, you're very equal. But we love the women empowerment.
Yeah.
Now, going back to your economic hat.
Yeah.
Oh, you spoke about this earlier. Do you see an opportunity for more Swedish businesses to invest in Liberia? And how do you see the Swedish embassy facilitating those relationships?
Yeah. We do definitely hope that we can entice more Swedish companies to come here and explore the opportunities. I mean, I think we have to be honest. This is a small market, poor country in Western Africa. So there's never going to be a huge influx of Swedish companies here because it's also, it's fairly distant. Most companies tend to work where they feel more comfortable, which is in their immediate neighborhood.
Exactly.
But we do see that there are a lot of opportunities. So we've been trying to raise the interest in Sweden for Liberia as a market. So we've produced a brochure that we're trying to sort of market on different events where Swedish companies that have an interest in the global market sort of look for opportunities.
Right.
So that's one way we try to do that. The EU is planning on hosting, together with the EU member states, early next year, a business forum together with Liberia in Brussels.
Amazing. Hopefully I'll get an invite.
Yeah, talk to the EU delegation. I'll see what I can do. I'll put in a good
work out. Yeah.
Put in a good work.
Yeah, I'll help you publicize it.
Yeah. No, but we want to try to get Swedish businesses to come to that, but also help the ones who are actually here.
Right.
Actually, only yesterday chatted with the managing director of the company which is selling Volvo trucks in Liberia right now. They sell a lot of trucks to ArcelorMittal.
Okay, yes.
And they see a market here. They can grow. They can do even more. But of course, they find different challenges, and we're trying to see how we can then help them navigate that.
Right. Okay, so we've talked about all the serious stuff. Now, the most serious. I'm going to end this off with the most serious question.
Okay.
What is your favorite Liberian food?
Without a doubt, palm butter.
Oh my gosh, you've just made Maryland people very happy.
Which is why I'm super excited again about the trip I'm taking next week. Yeah.
So do you like it with palm butter obviously palm butter, or do you like it with rice or fufu, or both?
I would say rice.
Rice.
Yeah.
Have you had it with fufu?
I've not had that, but I've had fufu.
Okay. So I think you should try it.
It's a little bit dense, I find.
Yeah, but with the combo of the textures, I find that palm butter and fufu, just a suggestion. Yeah. And then also...
But can I just say, though, I'm still struggling to get my head around this idea of mixing proteins in one stew.
Yes.
The fish and chicken and goat and everything.
That is something that is perplexed quite everyone in the world. I'm sure you've heard of, I'm sure you've had jollof rice. And I don't know if you've heard of the jollof wars. So there's this competition in ECOWAS who has the best jollof. Now, it's always the heavy hitters, Ghana and Nigeria, right? Those are the two. I think they're both horrible. Do not come for me that you have before. But there's actual competitions, and these competitions take place in the US. And one of the biggest complaints that the others have is Liberians cheat because we put so much meat in one pot. When you go to Ghana, you'll see, and Nigeria, you'll see chicken stew, goat stew, everything separate. I think it kind of just reflects that, we're just a mixed match of a big crock pot of people. And I mean, the flavor is there. The flavor is there. I mean, you came from Rwanda. I haven't had Rwandan food, but I've had Eastern African food. No shade, but I mean, one thing I always say about Liberia, we may not have too much to brag on, but one thing we can always brag on is the food. Even if you don't like all the proteins, it's so seasoned, it's so well. Okay, so now I have to ask, do you have a second favorite?
Possibly fish pepper soup.
So you eat that with rice or fufu?
I'm gonna go with the rice.
I think I need to take him to a place called Dumba Valley. I think we're gonna do a little Saturday excursion. Me and my cameraman here, Saifa, he loves Dumba Valley. He lives right near us, so maybe we'll take you out on a little lunch date, and we'll try out some different things and see. And
Sounds
there's some ways to make it better or easier. One way I find is okra. If you mash up a lot of okra, it gives you that slimy texture, so it's easier for those because it's an acquired thing, right? Especially if you're not Liberian or African. And one of the biggest no-nos in the African world, especially Liberia, is you do not chew your fufu. Yeah, that's a big no-no. But a lot of because once you chew it, you lose the flavor. So that might be the issue. If you're chewing it, then you lose the flavor. But the issue, the whole purpose is grab it with the soup or the stew and swallow it, because once you start chewing it, it is not going to be that great. It's going to be dense, and you're going to lose it's going to lose its flavor. Okay, so away from the food, because I go on and on about it. I'm sure you've been all over. You said 8 or 9 counties. Has there been a specific Liberian tradition? I know we do a lot of gowning ceremonies. Anything that has stood out to you that was so special since you've been here?
Not anything that sort of really shocked me, I would say. I mean, I think they're all extremely nice whenever you go somewhere, especially out in the countryside with all of the dancing.
Yes, cultural dancers are great.
It's always super nice to see that. And, with the cola nuts and...
So you've had all the traditional ceremonies, and I'm sure you have them all the time.
People giving you chickens and goats, and
always a great gift to come home with. And they always give you, and you know what I do love about the rural trips? They always give you the best, fruit and produce and all these different things. It's so fresh. It's kind of like, getting our organic instead of here in Monrovia. But you seem like you have assimilated quite well, and we look forward to the work that you're going to do here. We look forward to fostering this relationship with Philomena.com and the Swedish Embassy, and following you all in your ventures, and hopefully covering and showing the audience more of what you do and the impact that you're making. I'd like to thank you again for sitting down with me. You've been awesome. You're one of my favorites so far, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be on.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that.
Thank you. Pleasure is all mine.
Yeah.
Let me get that.